To preface this video, I have to mention that I will never recommend a gacha game to anyone. That's because I believe the gacha mechanic is one of the worst things to happen to video games, and that any game that has it needs to end of service. But on the other hand, I've been playing gacha games for nearly 10 years now, and after going through a bout of terrible purchasing decisions, I finally become comfortable with being a free-to-play player in these kinds of games. I do get the itch to spend sometimes though, because I always feel like I need that new banner character, but now I can control that urge. And that urge is why I can't recommend gacha games to you. I don't want to be the reason that you threw your wallet away into a hole to hopefully get that one character, but you lose all your 50/50s. So with that in mind, we're going to talk about Chaos Zero Nightmare, a new game by Smilegate, the company that created Epic 7, which by the way was also my first gacha game. And let me say, Smilegate knows how to make a solid turn-based experience. Their games usually have a surprising amount of depth under the surface, and Chaos Zero Nightmare continues that legacy in a way I didn't really expect. It's a roguelike deck building RPG, and I'm gonna be honest, when I first heard that, I didn't think I would like it. Deck builders usually start slow, and roguelikes demand repetition, which sounds like a recipe for frustration. But somehow, Smilegate pulled it off.
Are you sure about that?
At the heart of Chaos Zero Nightmare lies Chaos Manifestations, the roguelike mode that truly makes the deck building experience shine. This is where most of the strategic experimentation, tension, and long-term progression comes in. You start every run by picking a team of 3 combatants, each one bringing their own base deck of just 4 cards. Before you even step foot on the map, you also select a fate, essentially a run modifier that shifts how the entire session will play out. These fates give passive bonuses like earning credits when you move to a different area but you take more damage at the same time, or an increase in recovery at the rest zones, and even getting 1 free legendary item but you get cursed in exchange. Choosing a fate that aligns with your team composition or your goals for the run is surprisingly important. Once the run begins, you navigate a node-based map with a variety of tile types: standard battle nodes, elite monsters, rest areas, and event tiles marked with a question mark. These event tiles are where the randomness really kicks in. They can be beneficial or catastrophic, giving buffs, items, or even applying risky conditions. The risk-reward tension is core to what makes each run feel like its own little adventure. Combat in Chaos Manifestation relies on a system where each turn you draw 5 cards and have 3 action points to spend. Each card costs varying AP, and your sequencing matters. Choosing when to play attacks versus buffs, or when to use powerful but expensive cards, is part of the math of every fight. If your deck starts to bloat or you pick up cards with negative effects, there are in-run ways to remove cards through rest shop nodes or card effects, which is crucial to streamline your deck. Then we have Epiphany. When certain conditions are met, specific cards light up, allowing you to evolve or upgrade them midway. When you choose an Epiphany, you often get to pick from a few options. Sometimes these are divine epiphanies, which are rarer and provide significantly stronger or more unique effects. Once you pick an epiphany, the new or upgraded card is immediately usable and then can permanently unlock into your character's saved data if you finish the run. This means the choices you make during your run directly feed your long-term progression. Epiphanies you pick, cards you delete or duplicate, and even equipment drops all influence your future playthroughs. At the end of the run, assuming you survive long enough, you generate a saved data tied to your character. This data includes cards you've upgraded, epiphanies you acquired, and equipment, all of which can be used again in non-roguelike game modes. Although community feedback suggests that there's a cap to what gets saved based on the run's difficulty or power level, cards or epiphanies above that cap may be dropped or replaced. How it works? I'm still not sure. The map size itself scales depending on the stage size. Larger zones mean more tiles, more events, and more opportunities for higher tier rewards, but also more risk. Add in random elite fights, hidden events, and the pressure of managing stress and deck size, and you've got a highly replayable but deeply strategic mode. And for players who want even more challenge, there's a harder Chaos Manifestation difficulty, some call it the funny mode or the trauma mode, that increases stress gain but also makes epiphanies more likely and boosts how much saved data you can carry. Now here's where my love-hate relationship with the game starts to show. A single Chaos run takes way too long. I mean, I love strategy games, but these runs can stretch out for ages, and you start to feel the fatigue. It's not that the content is bad, it's just that the pacing feels off. If they streamlined the runs or allowed us to skip certain dialogue or something, it would feel way more digestible for casual sessions. Then there's the stress system. As you fight or experience certain events, your characters build up stress. If stress reaches a threshold, characters suffer a mental breakdown that incapacitates them and makes the rest of the run harder. But you're not powerless. There are rest areas that let you reduce stress, and some fate modifiers or card choices can mitigate stress gain. On top of that, you can bring that combatant back by using their specific mental cards and either reach the required amount you need, or you might get lucky and have them recover after the first card. Balancing when to push forward and when to heal is a huge part of the strategy. Sometimes gambling on an elite fight is worth it, but if you're already stressed, it can backfire hard. On one hand, I like that it adds pressure. You can't just coast through endless fights. But when you're on a good run and the game suddenly throws you into multiple back-to-back fights with no real rest, it feels punishing instead of challenging, and I think Smilegate needs to tweak it a little bit. Outside of the chaos mode, the game follows your standard gacha formula. Farm materials to level up your characters and your partners, which is the weapons, farm material to unlock stuff on your character's skill tree, and then the gear farming. And honestly, this is the part that really sucks. The gear system suffers from the same RNG nightmare every gacha veteran knows too well. You can grind for weeks just to get one decent piece of gear, and even then the substats will roll into useless ones like HP % when you clearly needed crit rate. It's a frustrating system that artificially extends your playtime instead of rewarding it, and when you combine it with a stamina cap, it becomes even worse. There's nothing more demotivating than hitting your daily stamina wall when you're actually in the mood to play. If the game didn't limit your farming or at least gave better drop rates, I could see this being a genuinely addictive grind. But right now it's more like a chore where you have to clock in for work every daily reset. Now let's talk about the part everyone hates, the gacha system. And to be fair, it's not the absolute worst out there. The rates are somewhat decent and the pity system feels achievable. But that doesn't change the fact that it's still a gambling mechanic. Every time you roll, you're rolling against your own self-control, not the odds. The game also features multiple banners with characters and partners, and while I get why, variety and marketing reasons, is honestly overwhelming. It always feels like there's something limited running that you might miss forever, which feeds into that dreaded FOMO cycle. I can already see the future. Content update introducing tougher stages that recommend new limited characters. If Smilegate wants the game to last, they'll need to balance their monetization strategy very carefully. The foundation is great, but too much pay-to-win pressure and this game will lose its player base. Despite all my criticism, Chaos Zero Nightmare has potential. The gameplay loop is creative, the art is great, and the roguelike concept is a fresh spin on the turn-based gacha formula. It reminds me of Arknight's Enfield or Reverse 1999 in how it tries to blend genres without losing identity. If Smilegate supports it well, regular events, good balancing, less aggressive monetization, it could easily become a standout title. But that if is massive. Gacha history has shown us that even great games can collapse under bad business decisions. Another big plus is that it feels skill-based at times. Unlike other gachas that are purely stat checks, Chaos Zero Nightmare rewards good deck decisions. You can actually win tough fights by optimizing your cards and timing, which feels really satisfying when you pull it off. If you're someone who enjoys tactical gameplay and doesn't mind a bit of RNG chaos, you'll probably enjoy this game a lot, at least for a little while. So do I recommend Chaos Zero Nightmare? No, not because it's a bad game. It's actually pretty great in a lot of ways. I just can't, in good conscience, recommend any gacha title to someone who hasn't already been through the grinder of the gacha scene. The gameplay is fun, the visuals are impressive, and the systems are deep enough to keep you hooked, but it's still a gacha game. It's still designed to make you want to spend. If you can resist that temptation, then this might be one of the more unique and rewarding experiences Smilegate has made. But if you know maybe you've got a gambling problem, maybe steer clear. Because at the end of the day, no matter how many chaos runs you finish or how perfectly your deck is built, the real enemy is gacha itself. Thanks for watching. My name's Suka. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.